President General among the nations, my brother in the Lord. We pray together a lot.
You occupied the office of the breadwinner. My wife had this problem with my parents, and it was big.
With you.
Moving your hair, and then the only time people see you as beautiful is when you're out, not when you're out. No, I'm just trying to embellish.
Hello and welcome on the E.B.U.N show. You know how I vouch to be practical on this show. So on this episode, I'm going to be having my husband over. It's going to be my husband and I discussing our 9 years of marriage. We're going to be practical, honest, and what again? Truthful. So you want to know about how we've lived together for 9 years. We've been married for 9 years and we've known each other for 13 years. You want to know about that? This is the episode. Carry your chair. If you have juice and chin chin, you can take it. Let's go on this ride. Oh, welcome the president.
President
General among the nations. Why are you feeling so comfortable on this set? Can you drop your leg, please?
No, I'm trying to fit into the beautiful set. I think it looks
only the
good.
presenter should be able to cross her leg.
Okay, so let me cross it the other way. It's okay like this.
Okay, this is Brother John. I guess you all know by now. My brother in the Lord. We pray together a lot.
The Lord bless you.
The Lord be with you.
The Lord keep you. May He cause His face to shine upon you.
It's enough. So, June, because I may not know when you will be seeing this episode, June 2024, we celebrated our 9th year anniversary. So, yeah.
Our 9th year in office.
In office. So we'll go straight into it. We just want to have some relaxed discussions and we'll be very practical with you guys. So the very first one says, what's the biggest difference between our first year of marriage and now? You go first.
Our first year of marriage and now. Year 1 versus year 9.
Benny. Yes, Ke.
In the first year we were young, we were single, even though we're married.
Were we single?
Now we have 2 children. I think that makes a lot of difference. So in the first year, it was pretty much about enjoying each other. We had great plans about having fun together. As a matter of fact, we decided that we're not going to have kids.
Like immediately?
We wanted an intimate, close marriage. Even though we ended up having someone living with us, or 2 people living with us for that long. But I think having children makes a whole lot of difference. And then what else? Someone was telling me at work recently that I've grown bigger. I think a lot of things have changed apart from the way we look. We think differently also. We have come of age in 9 years.
Yes. So we spent 1, 2, and a bigger part of the 3rd year not having children. Yes, I think the children came after the 3rd year or something.
I think so.
We have lived with children for 6 years of our lives.
Absolutely.
Yes, and well, at some point it's been tough. There have been times that we've had serious issues, like very terrible issues. You know, the first year you feel, nothing can separate us, you know. That first year you feel you can actually become a marriage coach because you feel everything is going on well, until the 3rd, the 4th, where you have challenges about money. There was a time it was really tough financially and I was like, why did I choose this man?
At some point I lost my job.
Yeah.
And then for a period of 6 months, I remember that you temporarily became the breadwinner. You occupied the office of the breadwinner. And then she was heavily pregnant and we're going to your workspace together. It was the darkest moments of my life. But you know, she was there too. She always shows up. Number 7. Have you seen that video?
No.
He always shows up. There's this guy who's always wearing jersey number 7.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I've not seen it. So I would say that the difference is maturity. I think personally I'm learning to overlook a lot of things because I'm saying that there are some things that I'll just stop. Baba is not ready to change. So let me just give myself peace of mind before it's not as if I still don't tell him that stop this habit, don't do it like this, don't do it like that. But now I know that as I'm saying it, it's not as if it's going to change. Even when he says, babe, yes, I will do it. I just give it like a 50-50% chance, or even 60-40 that.
I think 50% of the peace of mind comes in living with the reality. I think most of the anxiety and trouble we had is trying to change a particular thing. But certain things will never change. Some people never change. But you fell in love with me like that, so you should be ready to leave.
I did not see. No.
For the rest of your life.
No, wait, yes, now. There's nowhere we're going. But the thing is, there were some things I did not see until I came inside.
Yeah.
So
that's the idea of marriage. It's a package. It's a surprise
enclosed.
package.
You only see the surface. So you have to really be convinced to come into marriage, because there are some things that I'm like, okay, just even pack yourself together. Try to be sexy. Try to. Okay, we just.
There are some things that me too I did not see.
Yes, now.
Should I give an example?
Give.
That thing I used to do when you sleep. That I'm always hitting you.
Gnashing of teeth. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And I've also told you to buy me the guard, and you've not bought it
in 9 years.
You see?
I'll buy it as part of our 10th year anniversary gift.
So the next one is, how has our communication evolved?
Yeah, that one. When we first got married, I was of the opinion that when we have issues, we should resolve it right there, and then. I'm very big on having issues resolved. But I found out that most times, I'm the one who is causing the issue. And then, in my impatience, I always assume that once this issue, okay, I've identified my wrong, let us resolve it and move on. But over the years, I found out that, you cannot
be the offender and still dictate how the person should react to your offense.
Yes, and then I now found out with the experience that she always comes around. So anytime I offend her now, I say, anyway, she's angry, let me just go and let me just give her some time. After a while, she comes around. So the anxiety of let us resolve it now and then. But on a more serious note, I think that everyone has their own process to deal with issues.
I think, you said, first, from my own part, what I said earlier about wanting to correct things being a certain way, coming to realize that people are just who they are. You have to do a lot of accepting people. Then about communication, we must identify, that is what my husband has come to know, that people would not always react to things the same way, and we should allow the other person. It doesn't mean that it should be freedom to just behave anyhow, but we're talking like in the mature sense of it. He always feels that when he says sorry, we should just move on. But I feel I'm hot. Even if you say sorry, don't be saying sorry immediately, sir, because the sorry just makes it look as though you want everything, just keep quiet and move on, keep quiet. I'm like, don't just push me on after offense. I'm hot. Can you give me a bit of time to be by myself? And like he says, when I'm done, I come back. And then sometimes I tell him, that thing that you did to me, don't try it again. And it doesn't have to. Another cool thing is, it doesn't have to be very cultured.
Anyways, I also think that time heals. So in the early years of our marriage, my wife had this problem with my parents, and it was big.
With you?
With me first.
Because you were the causer of it.
No, whatever the details were. But I found out that with time, at some point I had to pray about it. I was worried about it. At some point I decided I wasn't going to care about it. I passed through a lot of seasons. But looking back now, and then I hear conversations between you and my mom and my dad, I think that time really heals. And most times people rush out of a thing because they don't understand that you need time to resolve an issue. So the reason why people divorce is perhaps because they are in a season, because every marriage must pass through those seasons. It's just like when you meet someone now, everybody is passing through different seasons of their life. There is a time where you don't have anything, but there will be a time where you have so much. There might be a time where you are sick. There will be a time where you'll be healthy. So I think that I have learned with time that if you are consistent and if you believe,
just
things are
do
going
not
to get
up
better.
and leave.
Yes.
Yes, time to heal.
Time heals.
Yes. So in 9 years, how have we been able to keep the spark alive?
Whew.
I think I should go first because I am not sure you have done so much.
Hey.
But there was a time.
That was below the belt.
There was a time that, and there will be another topic addressing this, where men do not feel the need to be sexy for their wives.
Okay.
So I know that at times I've intentionally done things like getting shorts, very nice housewares and all of that. Especially, it was necessary because my husband would not always see me dressed up. I work remotely. And so if you are not careful, like you move from nightgown to nightgown, like I say, because you wake up in the morning, you take your bath, you are in the house.
And then the only time you make up is when you're going out.
Is when I'm going to church. I'm not even...
And then when you come back from church, I'm begging you, leave this makeup on for a while. And then you're saying you're tired. You are removing your hair. And then the only time people see you as beautiful is when you're out, not when you're in. No, I'm just trying to embellish what you are saying.
No. You're saying something. Kilo shele. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, really?
So,
sorry. I thought that was what you said.
It is when I do makeup and I do wig that I'm beautiful.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, okay. There are times you are on set right now. You are made up.
Must I always be made up? If you don't like, are you made up? Don't I accept you with your cheek and tummy like that?
But that's the point we're making now. That's
not the point I was going to make.
Okay,
leave my point alone.
Make your point.
I was trying to say that I've made effort in buying nice stuff, although I'll be in the house, but it still looks good, skimpy, and that's why you're always chasing me around the house. Oga, what have you done to keep the spark alive? Don't be giving me subs that are not my own.
So I try my best, right?
To do what exactly?
To keep the spark alive. The first thing I do is to provide for this family.
Wow.
Without provision, primarily, there won't be any spark. But on a serious note, I think that it's an ongoing
let me
work.
identify it for you. You've not done so much intentionally.
Okay.
But one thing I appreciate about my husband is listening. He actually is very humble. Like when I say, you need to freshen up, and I don't say it in the coolest kind of way, like, Oga, you know how I say it. And he goes to freshen up. Like there was a time that we were having dental issues, and I got, some man can be there and be saying, but he will say, babe, is the breath fresh? And we worked through that together. And when it resolved, we knew, because even both of us had to use the stuff together. So that I appreciate about him in 9 years, that it doesn't, because there's a way a man just reacts to maybe the help you're trying to offer. It's either how you said it, why would you talk, or God, take the lesson. So I want to appreciate you for that.
Yes, I think that it is actually hard work, to be able to remain, what's the question again?
Spark, to keep the spark alive.
To keep the spark alive, because usually we all project the better side of ourselves outside. It is when you want to go out that you take your bath, that you freshen up, that you wear clean clothes and all of that. So it's a lot of hard work, especially when you're now married for that long, to ensure that whatever. I also think that it's just about taking the feedback. Once you are able to listen to your partner, that I don't like these things, and you're putting effort to addressing it, it gets better with the time. Abby, my breath, what's my breath like now?
Fresh. So what's the biggest challenge we've been through together, and how were we able to overcome it?
Yeah, ladies, right? I think you had issues with me, with some ladies, and what have you. I'm a ladies' man. That was a joke. But I think it's getting better, right? Let's hear from you.
You see, my own is not hard. What I ask my husband is, do you want the lady safe or unsafe?
That's a huge threat. What's the assassination plan?
No, I don't kill, because you're on air. So I'm a Christian. This is where my faith comes in. And somehow, whether people like it or not, I just believe that God is sentimental towards me in some certain area, especially when I'm in the right. So there was a time I told my husband, don't push me to the point where I say certain things against this person. So I think there are some times that it's okay to like people. Actually, we cannot be our friends like all we have. There are some people you're cool with, which is fine. But where I begin to have a problem with a particular lady is when there are excesses, right? You have lots of female people, friends that I'm cool with. Some even have become my friends. They reach me and all of that. But when you begin to have particular excesses, and the thing is, men tend to overlook a lot of things. But as a woman, you are particular about things. When you begin to start saying this thing, you are telling him that this particular lady boy says, no, there's nothing. He's just my colleague. He's just my friend. This one that is calling you for 30 minutes or hours on end, wow, what is this person looking for? And he doesn't listen, and then it begins to snowball. So I had that challenge, and it was major. At some point I was like, oh gosh, shame it, I should do my own. How will it feel?
In 9 years, I've learned that ladies are very territorial, and if you're going to have peace of mind as husband and father, you just have to, let them know that they own the space and allow them to determine.
My space is my space. No,
yes.
That space, the physical space is my own. Yes. No lady in their correct senses will say they are coming close to my physical space. But I'm just even saying, you as human, you are my space.
That's the point I was making, that you need to understand that now that you are married, you cannot, entertain certain excesses. And then, the way the scripture puts it is that two have become one. And then, the decision as to who you are close to, how long you speak with the person, who you consider a special friend or relationship, is a decision that must be made mutually with your partner. And if your partner is not, and one thing I've also learned over the years is that they are always usually right in most cases. If your wife says, I'm not comfortable with this person, you might not see anything wrong with that person. But because she's the woman and you are the man, she understands the
ways
chemistry
of women.
And then after a while, you now find out that, okay, maybe, even though there are few times where they're absolutely wrong, but if they have been right like 7 out of 10 times, then I think it's a pass mark. So over the years, I've learned that it's a work in progress. I'm working on it, and I think that I'm getting better.
Another challenge that comes to mind is...
let's talk about you. This conversation has been one-sided.
No, the greatest challenge, yes. I was going to say the next one, and you said, financial.
Okay.
The financial aspect. We mentioned it briefly earlier that it was very tough at some point, and it was really tough because we practically had no food at some point. But one thing for me is because at those points, people just generally blame the man, he doesn't have money. But because we were 5 girls, we are 5 girls that my parents raised, and my dad raised us independently. Like, to be independent, there's nothing a man can do that you cannot do. Like, he becomes irritated when he comes home and you're saying the generator is not working. Are you okay? You can't service it. So, like, when I got to school, and ladies it was strange to me that you want to carry something, you are waiting for a guy. You cannot carry it.
And at some point, I think you brought that into the marriage.
Yes.
And at some point, too, I just allow you to do it. And then at some point, it now became an issue.
Let me finish my points now. So when it got to the financial aspect of it, I didn't see it as though my husband didn't have money. I saw it as we didn't have money, and both of us are responsible for providing for the family. So I think although it was painful, it hurt, but it wasn't so much of, your house, because there was no phase of our lives that we did not have mutual contribution towards whatever we were doing. So at that point that he mentioned that he was out of job, I just felt, he is out of job, it's my time to really be there. And it fell at a time where I was pregnant and I had to trek long distances, and sometimes we are back home, no money, we eat Costa biscuits, but we thank God that we are not where we used to be. And I think mutual understanding was, and how we see things, perspective, to know that this person is not lazy. Indeed. This person is not intentionally not providing. They are not able to provide at the moment. So
there is no fixed rule. The rule is that the man provides. And we also came from that school of thought where the man takes responsibility for everything. But there are exceptions to every rule. And most times, many marriages are failed because there are moments in a man's life where the man cannot provide. And I think that the essence of the helpmate is to provide help in every situation where the man is unable to provide help. Like you said, as long as your man is not lazy. I wasn't working at the time, but I was...
you were volunteering.
I was volunteering. You know, I ensured that I was leaving the house every day, even though I wasn't getting paid, but I was working. And what I did in those 6 months became a significant part of, you know, my growth in my career. So get yourself a woman like E.B.U.N who can, you know, get into the shoes when occasions demand. And also, one thing I want to say is that ensure that your wife is working and that she's making progress. I don't subscribe to housewife. Who needs a housewife? I mean, the essence of marriage is help. And then you also do not want to have a wife that is not fulfilling our dreams. You're going to regret it later in life. At some point in our marriage, it became an issue like, okay, I have sacrificed so much, I had to leave what I love to do. The E.B.U.N show is one of it, and then we had to pull resources together, find time out of no time to ensure that she's able to do the things she wants to do so that you can have a happy and a fulfilled wife at home.
There are lots of questions we are supposed to attend to, but I would just pick one more and we'll be done. We'll come back another time. This one says, what's the accomplishment you are most proud of achieving together in 9 years? Should we pick that or say what's the one thing that I do that makes you feel loved and appreciated? So pick one.
Let's take the other one.
The last one or the first one?
The last one.
Okay, so the question is, what's the one thing I do that makes you feel loved and appreciated?
All right, so in our 9 years of marriage, I found out that 99% of my resources go into the family. At some point, I enter into depression each time I collect my salary because in 4 hours, it's off.
What's low?
You know, thankfully things are getting better now. You know, but my wife is such a person that she's able to identify my needs and then fill those gaps. And that means a lot to me because there are things that I would never think, even though I needed them, it would never come as a priority to me. So there was a day she went out with a car and then she just came back and filled the tank. Oh my God. Fuel wasn't even as expensive as it is now, but that blessed my soul because, you know, I felt that this was someone who could meet a need and I was so refreshed. So that for me, you know, shows that you're not only in this relationship for what you can get, and that you're not only just about yourself, but you're able to think of your partner. You know, things as simple as face caps. There was a time I did not have slippers, not because I couldn't afford them, but it just did not.
Priority.
It wasn't just priority for me. And then you are able to fill in those gaps. It blesses me so much.
Yes, so thank you.
You're welcome.
One thing that you have done over time that makes me feel loved and appreciated is when I have meltdown. I'm that person who cannot afford for things not to go a certain way. And it just, can you leave me alone? Everybody, out. Especially when it comes to my work and the things I hold dear to my heart. And it's just the simplicity with which sometimes he's angry. Sometimes you're angry, and sometimes it takes me to say, no, I didn't mean to be like that towards you. And he says, it's okay, just next time learn to calm down. Being that calming effect to me, you don't know how much it has done for me over the years. There were times I was actually depressed. You briefly mentioned that, and it was nobody could really tell at the point what it was like for me, but it was really bad. But you were there all through. You have seen the worst of me, and then you're just constant. There's this way that you don't let things throw you off balance as much. I really appreciate that about you. I appreciate that you have come to understand that even though I try to work hard, you should still give me something. You should still give me. You don't just feel, oh, she can. And I also appreciate now that you pay me my money now. When you borrow
me my money. Oh,
and my money.
And then I add some interest.
You add some interest. So I really appreciate that about you. And that will be it on our show. I love you, babe.
I love you more.
Together and a day.
Our love is eternal. Our marriage a
A
lifetime.
lifetime. And that's it on the E.B.U.N show for this episode. Whatever comments you have, no matter what it is, of course, it should not be silly because I'll blast you back. Put it in the comment section. Please subscribe, like, and share. Bye.
I can't see what you are doing. Oh, yeah.
Growing up, she beats. Auntie Emi, you beat me, Koda.
Yeah, but
I
how
should be
were
beating your
you?
children. How well were I?
Sometimes I say until you become a parent, you don't know what your parents went through concerning food. And that child keeps saying or doing those things. And you're like, this child. You understand? Sometimes you might want to lean towards a child.
Because you always used to put me in trouble and they used to have your side. So I felt they prepared her